Chairman Reynolds, good to see you again here. A simple question to start out with. Can Joe Biden win in November?
He can win. Certainly, the polls have tightened. His debate performance, I mean, I'm not going to try to mislead anybody, was not stellar at all. It was, as most would say, it was a train wreck. But still, Joe Biden has the policies that the majority of Americans favor. Particularly, one of the biggest ones that we're facing is democracy and a woman's freedom to choose bodily autonomy. Abortion is on the ballot. There's so many things that is facing former President Trump, like the 34 felony counts that he's been convicted of already, is embroiled in many, many more legal entanglements across the country. And so we have a contrast between someone who has been a great leader in this country, who is aged and showed a very weak debate performance, but has been strong on the economy, strong on pushing for a woman's right to choose, strong on advocating for climate and our environment, strong on access to affordable health care, and strong on criminal justice reforms and what his outreach for African Americans and minorities. So versus Trump, who's been the MAGA movement has been extreme when it comes to assaulting a woman's right to choose. They've been the real face of the anti-DEI movement that we're seeing in Texas, anti-affirmative action. They've been wrong on voting rights and civil rights. So I think there's a stark contrast. And I think that the voters are going to have to decide, would they be more comfortable with a old aging president or a very failed former president that is corrupt, that is on the wrong side of many of the issues like gun control reform, many of the issues that most Americans care about, kitchen table issues, that doesn't just pander to the top 3% of the wealthy and the far right wing extremists. That's what the voters are faced with.
I've got to ask you about what you posted to Instagram after the debate, though. You said you were very disturbed and you firmly believe Democrats need to replace President Biden with Vice President Harris on there. You're a delegate to the Democratic National Convention next month in Chicago. Do you expect there could be a floor fight over a nominee?
Well, Jason, I was very transparent after the debate. I'm not going to mislead the viewers today. I was very disappointed and frightened at some of the performance that I saw and lapses of memory and things that pauses or stutter or whatever you want to call it. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that his people said it was a cold, but I was very concerned. And my honest opinion, in the spirit of transparency, was that perhaps we could be better off if we had Vice President Kamala Harris leading the way at the convention. Because my number one goal, Jason, make it very clear, is to defeat Donald Trump. We cannot afford 4 more years of former President Trump. There's too much at stake when it comes to the Supreme Court. We've already seen the damage that was done in so many of the decisions. Federal judges, and so many things that he would do to be recalcitrant and set this country back from the progress that we've made under former President Obama and current President Biden. So yes, I'm very concerned. I said that out of a fear of losing our democracy in 4 years of what a President Trump could look like, and some of the polling data that was already showing that it was going to be a very close race in those swing states. I said that because I want to win, and there's too much is at stake. So could that be at the convention? I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of talk about it. There's a lot of concern that has been raised, but make no mistake about it. If Donald Trump, he is the Republican nominee, and I think that he is a existential threat to this country. If President Biden chooses not to step down, I wholeheartedly, unequivocally would do everything I can to see him be reelected. Will there be discussions at the convention? I'm hearing that there could be, but if President Biden decides that he doesn't want to step down, then it's very unlikely that there'll be a floor fight.
Well, what are Democrats saying right now?
Well, it's all over the place. Some Democrats are saying that, hey, the polls are what they are. I mean, we're seeing what's happened in Michigan. We're seeing what's happening in New Hampshire. We're concerned about other states, swing states. And perhaps we're concerned about the younger vote, the Muslim vote, the Arab vote. We're concerned about the African American male vote. So these are real demographics. I mean, this is the elephant in the room. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like it doesn't exist. It's real, and the concerns are real. And so people are having these discussions behind closed doors of the concerns that they have about what it would look like if these polls stayed the same, or if we have another debate and we have a similar debate performance. So these are discussions that people are having, that they want to win. That their ultimate objective is the same as mine: to have a blue trifecta, have the White House, the Senate, and the House Democrat, so that we could pass the Freedom to Vote, John Lewis Voting Rights Act, and other progressive measures, so we could codify Roe versus Wade. Those are the things that many of my colleagues and people who are on the Democratic progressive side are saying, and they believe that there could be some concerns regarding President Biden and his fitness. And so those are legitimate concerns. We have to have those adult, real conversations. It is derelict if we don't. So we put everything on the table, but ultimately, President Biden and his family and his doctors, they're the ultimate ones that have to make the decision. And we respect whatever decision they come up with. I was being very transparent and very candid. And there are others who are saying it behind closed doors. They're just not as bold and saying it, out in the open like I did.
Democrats really seem split on this issue. Do you think this is something that's going to pass, or is this something that's going to linger beyond the convention and into the election?
Well, I think the damage would be a calamity if it lingered beyond the convention. It's already tinkering on very close in terms of the convention is mid-August, the election is in November. It doesn't leave a whole lot of time. But if we decide that we're going to change forces, I think that if we did it at the convention, I think we would have sufficient time to get behind our Democratic nominee and our new ticket. And in my opinion, it could energize. You take away age as a factor on the ballot. You take away some of the other weaknesses that President Biden has. And I want to emphasize this, Jason. I think President Biden has done a phenomenal job of taking our country from the brink after COVID to resilience, lowest unemployment numbers in decades, stabilizing our economy, doing so many things to bring confidence back, investing in HBCUs and public education, the infrastructure dollars. He's done so much for this country. So I don't want to diminish President Biden, but I am, just like the polls say, about close to 70% of the country is concerned about his age and fitness. That is a real concern. So we have to be candid. And I think that many Democrats like myself are really grappling with it. They're troubled with how do we reconcile this, the concerns of his age and in his physical and mental capacity for the next 4 years, not just for the debates or the campaign, but going forward. So that's a legitimate concern. And I want to see President Biden make sure that he's doing the statesman thing and doing what's best for the country, not just best for the party, but a statesman makes tough decisions. And he will have to reconcile that with his position, with the first lady and his first family and his close advisors. But I hope and pray for the sake of the country that if he decides that he will not resign and he'll run, that he is fully fit. And I believe that if he does, he is, and that we can galvanize behind him, because the choice is stark between Biden and Trump.
Let me ask you one last question here too. Do you think President Biden should debate a second time?
Ooh, I'm mixed emotions about that. I think that on one hand, I want to see him redeem himself. And on the other hand, I'm concerned about a repeat. So I have mixed emotions about it. I would like to say if he was able to perhaps debate earlier in the day or had more rest, then I would say yes. So it depends. Put me in the category. I hate to punt the question, but it depends on how the president was feeling. I
All
certainly
right.
don't want to put him in a position that he was in recently. That would not be in the best interest of the president nor
Uh,
this country.
Representative, we appreciate the time, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Jason.